I'm currently at Kechara Forest Retreat, Bentong, Malaysia. Today we will continue reading from The Promise, the biography of my Guru, His Eminence, the 25th Sam Tuko Rinpoche. And this is the page that we'll be starting from, page 76. The book Doorway to Liberation by Geshe Wangyal, which I borrowed from Anila Thupten Choin down the street, describes the quality of compassion of Avalokiteshvara. When I read this, I could not stop crying. I felt at that moment the true purpose of Dharma was to develop unaffected true compassion in the face of good and harm. I reflected on how the kids at school used to tease me about being Asian and my mother's abuse. I would practice forgiveness and compassion towards them. I used to walk around the school absorbing the many racial slanders directed at me by being calm and focusing on Lokeshwara. Sam Rinpoche. The caption of the picture. The grand and highly revered Abbot Emeritus of Sarah Monastery, His Eminence Khenso Rinpoche Losam Tajin. What are the chances that I end up in a faraway distant America and 10 minutes away is one of the greatest living masters of this century? I believe I collected very good merits from my previous life to be able to live so near a great master like this, Sam Rinpoche. Meeting his first guru. Since his earliest childhood, Rinpoche's powerful imprints of a Truku, a reincarnate Lama, manifested in his natural devotion towards Buddhist masters, deities and prayers, and his all-consuming longing to practice the Dharma. It was not a coincidence that there were 3 Kalmic Buddhist temples in Howell. The temples served the 3 Mongolian clans of Turgut, Bozawut, and Torgut, who all lived within the same community in Howell, New Jersey. The young Rinpoche's home was a mere 10-minute bike ride away from one of the first Mongolian Tibetan Buddhist temples in America, Rashi Yempel Ling, which served the Torguts. This was where he met his first guru, none other than the highly realized master of Raja Yogini's practice and Abbot Emeritus of Sarah Monastery, His Eminence Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tajin, who arrived in Howell in 1971, just a year before Rinpoche's own arrival. Given the rarity of Tibetan Buddhism in the West in the 1970s, it was highly unlikely that Rinpoche would come across a Tibetan Buddhist center in the little town of Howell, much less an authentic Tibetan Lama. This occurrence was not serendipitous, but a sign of the young Rinpoche's Dharma imprints and past life prayers coming to fruition. Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tajin was a renowned student of His Holiness Pavungka Rinpoche, His Holiness Trijang Rinpoche, and His Holiness Ling Rinpoche, who were highly revered in the Tibetan Buddhist world. Rinpoche remembers that he was very stern and straightforward, but extremely kind. Upon sight, the barely 7-year-old Rinpoche thought this Grandmaster was spectacular. When Rinpoche saw the tankas, Buddha statues, and altars at the temple, he felt something awaken inside him. He felt that finally he had come home. Among his clearest and fondest memories as a child growing up in America was spending time in the main prayer hall of the center, praying or prostrating to a sacred old tanka of the Dharma protectress, Palden Lamo. Here's a picture of the external of the temple. And the caption, Rashi Gempel Ling was the first Kalmic Buddhist temple in Howell. New Jersey, and among the very first Tibetan Buddhist temples in all of America. The caption of the picture: even though he was very young, Rinpoche was naturally attracted to all things spiritual and enthusiastically participated in a children's debate class in Rashi Gempeling. Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tachin would come into the prayer hall and see the young boy sitting in front of Palden Lamos engaging in prayers. Once Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tachin asked him, "What are you doing?" "Reciting mantras." "To who?" "Palden Lamo." "Why?" "Because I like her." "You should pray to Buddha." He pointed to Buddha Shakyamuni's image and said, "You should sit in front of Shakyamuni, look at Buddha, and meditate." Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tachin moved Rinpoche there, but as soon as he left the hall, Rinpoche moved back to gaze upon Palden Lamo. Page 81. Meeting a secret protector. Lota was a young monk in Rashi Gempeling who looked after Khenso Rinpoche. His room was just opposite Khenso Rinpoche's room. I wanted to be a monk and I was curious how monks live their lives. So I sneaked into Lota's room one day to find out. I opened every drawer I could find because I wanted to know what monks usually keep in their possession. In that room there was a tall closet. It was high at that time as I was young, but I managed to open it. Inside was a black and white picture of a figure and a cup of tea in front of it. I grabbed the picture so that I could get a better look. I wanted to memorize the deity, but as I grabbed the picture, Lota caught me in his room. He took the picture from my hand and quickly closed the closet door. I asked Lota several times what Buddha it was, but he refused to tell me and only replied that it was not for me. The next day, I tried to sneak into Lota's room again, but he had locked the door. It was only many years later that I realized the picture I saw in that closet was Doje Shukden, Sam Rinpoche. Page 83. The rumblings of opposition. From the moment Rinpoche met Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tachin, he spent every free moment at RGL, mowing the lawn, washing the dishes, cleaning up, and helping in any way he could. At home, the young Rinpoche's growing interest in the temple and the Dharma was not well received by his parents, who thought it unnatural that he seemed so obsessed with religion. The Bugayevs were Buddhists, but they did not have much knowledge about Dharma or the teachings. For many traditional Mongolian families at that time, Buddhist practice was more of a cultural practice and a religious way of life for the ordained. Being deeply religious, they were familiar with the Buddha, green and white Tara, and Avalokiteshvara, and chanted simple mantras like Om Mani Padme Hum, but practice was often on a superficial level. Dana and Boris had other worldly plans for their precious son. They wanted him to live the American dream of growing up, going to college, obtaining a good degree, getting a job, and of course getting married and having children. Becoming a monk was definitely out of the question, as it would dash all the hopes they had placed in him. They had even picked out a girl for him to marry. In spite of the many objections Rinpoche faced from his parents, Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tachin taught the young boy about keeping the family together. He knew that Rinpoche's parents' disapproval of him spending time in the temple, so Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tachin always advised Rinpoche to stay at home, listen to his mother, and not come to the temple. He helped Rinpoche practice Dharma by being patient with his mother. In a desperate attempt to keep Rinpoche from the temple, Dana began to spread nasty rumors about Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tarjin. But the compassionate master never once retaliated or said a negative word about Dana. Both parents even confronted Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tarjin directly at the temple and spoke harshly to the respected old master. Fortunately, most of the community did not believe the rumors that were being spread, and many were very much aware of the trouble they had tried to stir up. Every time Rinpoche wanted to visit his guru or go to the temple, he lied to his parents, telling them that he was meeting friends. Occasionally, he would say that he was visiting his cousins or friends, who would kindly cover for him when his mother called to check, which he would do all the time. If he was caught going to the temple or engaging in anything related to Dharma, his mother would end up beating and screaming at him for hours, ending with him being grounded for weeks. Any promises that his parents had made to allow him to attend prayer sessions or initiations would also be retracted. I got caught a few times and was severely beaten for it. But I kept lying for years. If I went to the temples and got beaten for it, it was worth it. Lying is bad karma, but not getting Dharma is even more bad karma. Sam Rinpoche. There's a picture with a caption. A white Tara picture that Rinpoche created based on one of his mother's most treasured sakales, a small religious images. This is one of the first Buddha pictures Rinpoche drew and painted, which he was scolded for when his mother found out. It was later discovered that Dana had in fact kept this drawing on her altar until she passed away. Page 85. Whenever his mother went out shopping or left the house for work, Rinpoche would immediately rush over to the temple and spend as much time there as possible so that he could be of service to his guru. He would do anything that the temple needed help with, finding as many reasons as it could to stay and be useful, but Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tarjin, out of compassion for the young boy, would usually ask him to go home. Sometimes Rinpoche would be invited by Khenso Rinpoche Lobsang Tarjin to have momos, traditional Tibetan dumplings, which he would be utterly thrilled about, as it meant staying longer in the temple. Amidst all that was happening back home, these precious few moments of great care in RGL became his only respite, hope, and fulfillment of an intense wish to be near the Dharma. I just remember this little boy who kept coming. He kept knocking on the door and coming here with Buddha drawings he had drawn and colored, and he wanted to talk about Buddhas. Anila Tupten Choyit, formerly Carmen Kishikov. Picture of page 86 with the caption, a green Tara Chacha that was on the Bugayev's family altar for many years before Dana's passing, until Dana's passing. It is the only memento Rinpoche had of his mother. Khenso Rinpoche was a very strict teacher. He never smiled directly at me or gave me any compliments in the 9 years I was learning the Dharma in RGL. In fact, during most teachings, Khenso Rinpoche would single me out and ask very sternly if I understood what was taught. One day, Khenso Rinpoche was giving a Dharma talk at a student's house nearby I placed a bouquet of flowers which I had picked from the garden, along with a note that read, I offer you these flowers. Wherever your holy feet walk, may 1,000 lotuses spring up. Then I rang the doorbell and ran as fast as I could to hide in the bushes. I wanted to see what happened after that. One of Kensho Rinpoche's students came out, took the flowers and note, brought it over to Kensho Rinpoche, and through the screen door, I saw Kensho Rinpoche smile as the student read my note to him. I was so excited and happy. It was the first time I saw Kensho Rinpoche smile at something I had done, and it made me cry knowing that I had pleased my guru, Sam Rinpoche. And I will stop here today. So now I will go to the Facebook to see if there's any questions. Right, there's no question on this. So I would stop here and thank you for sharing the time with me. So please be alert, and tomorrow I will continue on with the reading. So now I'll end this with a completion dedication in Tibetan. Changjut Sencho Rinpoche, ma ke panam ge shi, ke panam pa me payang, gonin gondo pe washo, toni to Rinpoche, ma ke panam ge shi, ke panam pa me payang, gonin gondo pe washo, da so jini sapa ge wadi, dan ruwa guna gampada, je pa jesu lo santrapai, tamping imporin du sa se sho, ke wa kuntu yanda lama dan, rami choki pala lo chochi, sadam nangi yo terazone, doje changi ngapang otuso, ke wadi yododa lama sang yodrione, ruwa Kia malupa de isala go pashu joki kia posungapa josu nampa pewala keki sama siwadang jungki malu sawasho dadam sungi dusundan drewa songi latene Gewa losan trapai tampa yuriva gyushi ni modele sendele ni megunyan dele shi ni sentato dele pel concho sungi jingilo concho sungi ngodruso concho sungi trasi sho jesu lama kusen rapting ching nam katrini chochu ke bada losam tempe dro mi sap sungi dro e musa tato ni gyushi Dawe rawe kowe shingam dem pendan dewa mali byoweni jeren zi wan tenzin kia soi shape shi de badu den gyushi Tung ping ngô trụ ma lu pa đến để đó là sao du số có đàn đem pa long chốt nó cái pa số shik shuk tên sao. Thank you for sharing your time with me.